This is Rod Boomer Guitar Sessions, and today this is a beginner kind of thing. We're getting into bar chords. Beginner intermediate. It's not day one guitar, but anyway. Everybody wants to learn bar chords, whether they want to learn bar chords or not. I remember this is the first big thing that really like stopped my growth for a while. And I remember for about 10 minutes I thought of quitting. Then I remembered, no, this is fun. Why should I do that? That's dumb. Knock it off. So I want you to avoid all that. So with that said, we're going to try to demystify bar chording. I'm not going to say stuff that probably hasn't been said 1,000 times, but you're going to hear it from me. We talk about bar chords. First thing you need to know, when we bar, the bar is like a capo. Okay? When you bar, you're putting your hand on more than one string at a time. Okay? So for this chord, this is a bar. And it should look like a bar. It should not look like this. That is not a bar. Okay? That is not a bar. That is something else. And sometimes that's valuable, but not when we're trying to play bar chords. Important in the bar chords, in order to get your finger there, is your thumb position. How can you play a bar like this if your thumb is like this? So go back to rule number 1, don't hold your guitar like it were a battle axe, okay? So you want to have your first finger, it looks as straight as a bar, like you broke your finger when you were a kid and they put a splint on it and it was straight. That's a bar. That's a capo. What we're doing is substituting the capo. Next thing you need to know about bar chords is what we're doing with bar chords is we're taking the open chord and we're making it movable off of any note. The E chord is a real common chord, but what is more common, what is more powerful is the fact that that can be done at least 20 times in different note configurations. That same sound, okay? Which I'll explain in a minute. So, bar chords are taking, what we're doing is we're extending the range of an open chord so we can root a chord off of any note. So, that's an E chord. This is not an F chord. This is not an F sharp chord. That is something else. That's an ish chord. All right, so with that said, that is what a bar chord is. Now, with that said, maybe now we should talk about a little bit about, let's review our open E chords. That's your E. That's your E minor, or the way I like to finger it is like that. E major, E minor, and then you have an E7 chord. Those are your 3 big tonalities in rock and pop and R&B and every music. Reggae, ska, hardcore, whatever. Okay, even the power chord. That's your E bass chords. Okay, so why that's important is because when we make that into a bar chord, this shape right here is your E shape. This is your bar. How we name it is this first finger is on an F note. That's an F major chord. If we know that this is a G note, that's a G major chord. What's neat about bar chords is that you can't do with open chords. I can play a G chord like that and it sounds all right. What I can't do as easily or at all with an open chord is I can't do that. So we can play every note. So what you need to do, you need to learn your notes on the fingerboard. E and A strings for this lesson. All right, all the natural notes from open to 12. With that said, lots of these notes are going to be, lots of these pitches are going to have 2 different note names. So this is an F. It's more commonly known as F, but it is also C sharp or E sharp in some keys. This is an F sharp. It's also G flat in some keys. G sharp, A flat. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we took it up the neck, up to here, there's like 23 different note names from here to here that we could root chords off of. Why that's important is for every one of these shapes I show you, that's 23 chords. That's, I'm losing track, that's what, 200 chords? I don't know. I can keep going. 300, I don't know. It's lots of chords, the math. So anyway, that's form 1. So you learn every one of these notes, you learn every one of these note names, then you can say, okay, I need a B flat 7 chord. So I go to my B, I go, this is my B flat, and this is my major chord. If I lift my pinky, that is my dominant 7th chord. If I wanted to say B flat minor 7, I would just lift this finger. I lift that finger, I can play The Thrill Is Gone by B.B. King. Anyway, minor blues, lots of stuff, okay. Okay, form 2 are A chords. When I say form 2, these are A-based chords, A-string rooted chords. So we have our A major, we have our A minor, we have our A7, we even have our A minor 7. Okay, so those are the basic chords. I could do other stuff too, but A sus 4. So anyway, so why that's important? This is the way we play the form 2 major bar. The 3rd finger is going to be your barred note. Some people play it this way. This is like classical guitar players play. That's hard. And then it doesn't give us room to do other things with the pinky in it. Okay, so this one for rock guitar players is preferred. So these are your major chords, okay? This is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. Now, in the description here, I'm going to give you a link to my getting the fingerboard together. Learning all those notes on the fingerboard, there's a whole lesson on that, and I'm not going to reiterate, I'm not going to waste your time with this. We're just worrying about bar chords. You want to work on form 2, at least major, minor, and dominant 7th. Okay? Major, minor, dominant 7th. And then that's an E. E flat, D, D flat, C, C sharp. Okay? So you practice it. You practice them. You put it, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes in on this, a really concentrated, focused effort, and it's never going to be hard again. So, okay, pick a dozen songs that have bar chords in it. That's another good hack. So, Little Green Day. Grateful Dead. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Little Bob Marley. A lot of Bob Marley. He used bar chords a lot. Alright? tons and tons of songs. We'll work on some of these things in the future lessons here on Boomer Guitar Sessions. But getting your bar chords together is real kind of important. It's like the third thing. You have your open chords, you have your power chords, and then work your bar chords. Then you work your bar chords, and then you can play probably 90% of the songs that are out there. Okay? And we'll work on other voicings and show you other stuff too. But bar chords is a big deal. So, as I said, I just showed you a way to learn 400 chords in a matter of a half hour. So I hope you take advantage of this. I hope you found it useful. And if you have any questions at all, put them in the comments. Hopefully my guitar is in tune. Hopefully you're not making fun of me because of that. But if you have a real question, throw it into the comments, and then it gives me insight on how to address things in a future lesson. All right? Talk to you later. Hit subscribe, do all that stuff, and see you next time. Hi, this is Rod from Boomer Guitar Sessions. I personally wanted to thank you for being part of our community. If you like what we're doing here and you want to see more of it, please hit the like, subscribe, and share. And this helps me spread my musical messages to all over the world. Thank you. I appreciate you. And always remember, you can do this.